Get ready to dive into stories that go beyond the ordinary. I created this channel to challenge your imagination and give you a front row seat to compelling, advanced narratives. To keep these stories coming, please subscribe, like, and share with others who love this great story.
This time, it was Xiaoming who was dumbfounded. Her entire face became extremely complex, and Lin Moyu couldn't describe her expression. After more than 10 seconds, Xiaoming finally spoke in a trembling voice. "Your name is Lin Moyu?" Lin Moyu nodded. Xiaoming asked again, "Are you the Lin Moyu?" Lin Moyu nodded again. A few seconds later, a scream erupted from Xiaoming's mouth, echoing throughout the palace. Lin Moyu didn't expect that such a small body could produce such a high-pitched sound. He even wondered if Xiaoming was practicing some kind of sound-based law. The sound reverberated, lingering in the air. Lin Moyu looked at her worriedly. "Are you okay?" Xiaoming shook her head, seemingly in disbelief, and confirmed again, "Are you really the Lin Moyu, the one who is ranked first in the 3 rankings of the Vermilion Bird Star domain?" Lin Moyu nodded once more, "Yes." Xiaoming continued to ask, "Are you married? Do you have 4 wives?" "In the small world, I got married." "Why did you get married so early?" "Where I come from, people get married early. Some have children before they turn 20. Xiaoming's eyes lost focus, and her hopes were shattered. After a while, Xiaoming said, "But when you came to the great world, you didn't bring your wives with you." Lin Moyu's expression changed slightly. He didn't want to discuss this topic and said lightly, "Let's start the registration." At this moment, a substantial aura rose from Lin Moyu, like mist or smoke, pressing down on Xiaoming. Xiaoming shivered all over, feeling that Lin Moyu suddenly became incredibly powerful and noble, with an aura that was impossible to look directly at. Her heart was gripped, and she became tense. This feeling was even more terrifying than when she faced Zhu Tian. It was a kind of suppression from the soul level. Lin Moyu's soul was originally a level higher than Zhu Tian's. Once he released his soul's pressure, it was naturally more terrifying than Zhu Tian's. Fortunately, this feeling didn't last long, and Lin Moyu withdrew his soul pressure. Only then did Xiaoming truly recover. All her previous thoughts about Lin Moyu vanished in an instant, leaving nothing behind. Xiaoming began to register Lin Moyu and arrange his accommodation. Xiaoming asked, "Mr. Lin, do you prefer to live by the lake or on the grassland? Do you like places with rain or dry places?" There were many houses on the island, controlled by formations, with various environments. One of Xiaoming's duties was to find out Lin Moyu's preferences and arrange different accommodations. Lin Moyu thought for a moment. Choose a place where it rains, preferably by the lake. In the small world, his hometown was in the Zhongnan water town, where it often rained and was rich in water. Xiaoming quickly selected a residence and completed the registration. "Alright, your identity information has been registered. Your residence number is 108, about 2,000 kilometers from the central square. The central square is located at the center of the Fire Seed Island. From there, you can see some of the preliminary matches of the star systems, but some information requires points to view. Around the central square, there are some training facilities." Xiaoming introduced the entire continent to Lin Moyu. This continent was called the Ring Mountain Continent, and the island he was on was called Fire Seed Island. As the name suggests, Fire Seed Island was specially prepared for the human race's fire seeds. Those who were designated as seed contestants by the domain lord and qualified to come here were all fire seeds of the human race. Fire Seed Island, though small, had all the necessary facilities. It had a mission center, a trading center, and a time house, all fully equipped. However, the mission center here only had missions within the Ring Mountain Continent. Under the sea of the Ring Mountain Continent, there were many starry sky beasts, all deliberately placed there. These missions were not easy, but whether to do them or not was up to the individual. In the trading center, you could also buy some treasures that were only available in the Divine City. The time house was for training, capable of accelerating time by 100 times. Training inside for 100 days would only take 1 day outside, saving a lot of time. Of course, the time house was not free and required a lot of points. When he was in the Super God realm, the time flow rate was 10 times that of the outside world, costing 100 points per day. Now, the time flow rate had reached 100 times, 10 times more than before. But the required points had reached 10,000 per day, 100 times more. In fact, the time flow rate of the time house could be further accelerated, even up to 1,000 times. But in that case, it wouldn't be very beneficial for training. The time flow rate being too fast would also put pressure on the soul. At 1,000 times the time flow rate, the efficiency of comprehending the laws wouldn't increase much. On the contrary, at 1,000 times the time flow rate, it would greatly affect one's lifespan. You might enter as a young man and come out as an old man. Another important reason was that time houses with 1,000 times the flow rate were hard to find and extremely costly. Considering all these reasons, a time house with 100 times the flow rate was the most cost-effective. Xiaoming introduced all this while leading Lin Moyu to his residence. The residence was as luxurious as a palace, about 100 meters high, divided into 5 floors. From this moment on, during his time on Fireseed Island, this place belonged to Lin Moyu. Without his permission, no one could enter. Xiaomeng's task was over, but before leaving, she asked again, "Mr. Lin, are you really married?" Lin Moyu found it both funny and exasperating. He was only 36 years old, and Xiaoming was definitely older than him. But in his eyes, Xiaoming seemed like a child who hadn't grown up. With Lin Moyu's affirmative answer, Xiaoming left disappointed. Lin Moyu didn't enter his residence but headed to the central square. Soul auras rose from the central square, making it very lively. Among them, Lin Moyu sensed several familiar soul auras. Zhuang Bai, Chu Shang, and Xu Jianxing were all there. Besides these three, Zhang Zheyi was also there, representing the War God Hall. The distance of 2,000 kilometers was just a flash away. For all God Kings, this distance was just a step away. In the central square, a huge projection was showing a match. One person was controlling the water of the 9 heavens, pouring it down. Another person was controlling blazing flames, surging upwards. The two were like water and fire, fighting fiercely. A group of people watching the match was intently staring at the projection, muttering to themselves. Charge up and hit him. Take advantage of the moment when his spell ends and charge up. Use fireballs to explode, create steam and then launch a surprise attack. So stupid. Don't you know how to use a magic treasure? Get a fire-type magic treasure and burn all the water away. The group kept talking, looking like they were frustrated with the fighters. Another group of people watched silently, their eyes never leaving the projection. On the periphery, another group of people watched coldly, looking proud and uninterested in the fight on the projection. These people wore uniform clothing with the War God Hall's emblem, clearly from the War God Hall. Lin Moyu watched for a while and understood what they were doing. Two groups were betting on the outcome of the fight on the projection. Lin Moyu quietly walked over and watched the projection. To him, the fight between these two was like children's play. After all, it was a preliminary match, so the opponents couldn't be expected to be very strong. Lin Moyu. Suddenly, a voice called out. Turning his head, he saw Zhang Zheyi waving at him. The name Lin Moyu carried an immense power, immediately drawing everyone's attention. Dozens of eyes turned to look at Lin Moyu simultaneously. There was no helping it. Lin Moyu's reputation was simply too great. In the Vermilion Bird Star domain, he was ranked first in 3 different rankings. A genius among geniuses, he reached the Super God realm at 28 and the God King realm at 36, with a high possibility of becoming the second War God. His fame had spread not only in the Vermilion Bird Star domain but also in the other 3 star domains. A shadow flashed before his eyes, and all the light was obscured. The burly Chu Shang appeared in front of Lin Moyu like lightning, grinning, "You brat, you finally made it." His voice was thunderous, like a clap of thunder. Lin Moyu took half a step back and looked up. "Senior brother Chu, long time no see." Chu Shang laughed heartily. "Long time no see. You brat, your fame is almost surpassing the domain lords." Lin Moyu smiled wryly. "It's just luck." A cold voice came from the side. "Strength is strength. Junior brother Lin, there's no need to be so modest." That's right, with junior brother Lin's strength, there's no need to be modest. The speaker was Xu Jianxing. Xu Jianxing did not hide his information. He had already reached the 2nd rank of the God King realm. But Lin Moyu knew that his real combat power was definitely not just at the 2nd rank of the God King realm. Everyone on Fireseed Island had the ability to fight beyond their level. If they couldn't, they wouldn't be worthy of being called the human race's Fireseeds. Lin Moyu smiled. "Senior brother Xu overpraises me." At this moment, Zhuang Bai said in a low voice, "Junior brother Lin, your aura seems to be more than just the 1st rank of the God King realm." Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he released part of his aura, revealing his 3rd rank of the God King realm. Xu Jianxing was stunned for half a second, then laughed out loud. "Junior brother Lin has become senior brother Lin." He was magnanimous and showed no jealousy. Lin Moyu smiled. "Senior brother Xu, there's no need for such formality. After all, I am still the junior." Xu Jianxing waved his hand. "Rules are rules." Xu Jianxing, who came from the Divine City, had always been a stickler for rules. Lin Moyu had no choice but to go along with it. At this moment, a haughty voice rang out. are you the Lin Moyu who is ranked first in the 3 rankings of the Vermilion Bird Star domain? A group of people approached, all wearing the uniform of the War God Hall. The leaders looked proud, and one of them looked at Lin Moyu with a cold expression. Judging by his demeanor, Lin Moyu could guess what was going on. People from the War God Hall always considered themselves superior. This was a well-known fact, not needing to be seen to be believed. Lin Moyu did not hide his information. Wei Bowen. Realm, Minor God Sovereign. No wonder he was so arrogant, he was a Minor God Sovereign. He looked quite young, and reaching the Minor God Sovereign realm at his age was indeed impressive. Lin Moyu politely said, "Senior brother Wei, what advice do you have?" Wei Bowen sneered arrogantly, "Advice? I wouldn't dare. I just want to ask, when junior brother Zhang invited you to join the War God Hall, why did you refuse? Was junior brother Zhang's invitation not sincere enough, or do you look down on the War God Hall?" Faced with such accusatory questions, Lin Moyu's tone also turned cold. Whether or not to join the War God Hall should be my own choice, right? Wei Bowen did not agree. As a member of the human race, it should be an honor to join the War God Hall. If it weren't for the War God saving the human race from disaster, the human race would have been extinct long ago. The War God's legacy should be the best choice for our human geniuses. So, by refusing to join the War God Hall, are you being disrespectful to the War God? He spoke with a high and mighty tone, full of righteous indignation, and seemed to make some sense. Lin Moyu shook his head and sneered, "I believe that as long as one contributes to the human race, they are an excellent member of the human race. Whether or not they join the War God Hall is secondary." Lin Moyu's words resonated with many people who had long been displeased with the arrogance of the War God Hall. No matter which star domain, the War God Hall always acted superior. Immediately, someone echoed, "Exactly. Just because we didn't join the War God Hall, does that mean we can't contribute to the human race? Does that mean we're not part of the human race? When we were fighting against alien races, where were you people from the War God Hall? I've completed thousands of missions, experienced life and death, but I've never encountered anyone from the War God Hall." Exactly. What contributions has the War God Hall made in recent years? Tell us. There were 90 people present, including Lin Moyu, and only 24 were from the War God Hall. The remaining 66 were either from the 4 major star domains or the Divine City. Suddenly, the crowd's words overwhelmed them. Lin Moyu seized the opportunity to strike while the iron was hot. If all human geniuses were to join the War God Hall, what would happen to the army? What about the geniuses in the Divine City? Should all God Sovereigns, including the adults in the Divine City, join the War God Hall? If they refuse to join the War God Hall, does that mean they are disrespectful to the War God? I've read records from the past 2,000 years. In the battles between the human race and the major enemy races on the Vermilion Bird battlefield, countless soldiers and cultivators have sacrificed their lives. Tell me, were there any people from the War God Hall among them? If so, how many? If not, what have you been doing all these years? Lin Moyu's words were like a sharp knife, piercing Wei Bowen's mouth, leaving him speechless. Not only him, but his colleagues were also at a loss for words. They couldn't say what the War God Hall had done. In fact, Lin Moyu knew that the War God Hall had certainly done a lot, but the things they did were at a much higher level, beyond the knowledge of someone like Wei Bowen. So Lin Moyu played on the information gap. Trying to put a hat on me? You're too naive. The voices of agreement grew louder, and the people from the War God Hall couldn't refute. Even if they tried, they were outnumbered. Wei Bowen trembled with anger, instinctively letting out a roar, and his Minor God Sovereign aura burst forth. Can't win the argument, so you want to use your realm to suppress others? Lin Moyu's side also had Minor God Sovereigns, so it wasn't scary at all. Chu Shang was the first to react, his aura explosive and not inferior to Wei Bowen's. "What, you want to fight?" Of course, they couldn't actually fight. No matter who started it, regardless of right or wrong, they would be punished. Lin Moyu knew that Chu Shang was just putting on a show. Despite his rough appearance, he was very meticulous inside. Lin Moyu gave a light hum, delivering the final blow. "Elder Luo once invited me to join the War God Hall, and I agreed to consider it. As a member of the human race, I did think about joining the War God Hall. Now it seems that there's no need to join the War God Hall. When I see Elder Luo next time, I will tell him the truth." Wei Bowen was stunned for a moment, realizing who Lin Moyu was referring to. His voice trembled. "Are you talking about Elder Luo, the God Sovereign Luo Changken?" Lin Moyu replied, "Is there another Elder Luo in the Vermilion Bird branch of the War God Hall?" Wei Bowen's body swayed, and he felt a wave of darkness before his eyes. He realized he had made a mistake. If he had known that Luo Changken had also invited Lin Moyu, he would never have come to provoke him. Now, he was in a difficult position, and his reputation was ruined. Not only had he embarrassed himself, but he had also embarrassed the War God Hall. If Luo Chang'an found out about this, he wouldn't know how to explain it. At this moment, he could no longer maintain his arrogance. Lin Moyu no longer wanted to argue with such a person. Their level was too low, and they were too foolish. Just as he was about to say something, Lin Moyu suddenly looked up at the sky, his eyes filled with surprise and excitement.